We have to bring you the news, and after the news we'll look at stories we have on the front and back pages. Kojo is already here. Of course, we'll also be joined by Mama View Sobwaji. Kojo, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Daddy Roro. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. And it was a great press conference by the NDC, but the reactions have been swift, haven't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. As you would well imagine, nothing brings out a government response quicker than an opposition press conference.
I love that.
Course, today we'll take our time to break it all down and figure out what everybody is saying. Try to separate the wheat from the chaff, right?
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's start the news.
Yes.
And definitely we'll start from the Ashanti region. Residents of some communities in the Trimankwama district of the region, they are unable to access health care at the only facility in the area, and this is due to the nature of the bad roads. Well, bridge linking Apere, where the Catholic Hope Exchange Medical Center is located, and the other communities so far has collapsed, forcing even patients to commute on foot to access healthcare. Nana Sensu Mensa visited the area and brings us this report.
Lab structure, Deep Gully. The 40-year-old bridge which connects Apre to Daokon, Himan and other communities is now a death trap. Besides the collapsed structure, deep gullies on the entire stretch of the road make it almost impossible. Commercial drivers are reluctant to ply the route even during emergency. Chiefs and residents of Apre want swift intervention to avoid preventable death. Nana Obri Kran II is chief of the town.
Abayina mesrewu. Na so nya kwan. Sabi abayi na ye kwan. Wo na oni mu nkrofo.
Chiefs do not construct roads, so I'm pleading to government for support.
Ebi anana kotena wo no machi. Ana wa bompa ya ma wo no. Ama watimi aye adwuma no. Sese ya ha.
Our roads are very bad. It restricts vehicular movement. Apre is just 5 kilometers away from Kumasi, but we are cut off because of our bad roads. Management of the health center says the facility is currently underutilized as patients are either reluctant to seek care for minor ailments until their condition gets worse. Others who can afford look elsewhere for medical attention.
Initially, we're having patients coming from these communities because it's the closest and the biggest hospital that anybody who is not well would like to attend. But the condition of the road is such that now people cannot easily come to the facility, and that is also affecting the patronage of the hospital. So it's like the hospital is sited within a community, but the road condition is not also helping people to access it. And I'm sure that you've been onto the road and you see how terrible the road is. Several attempts have been made to get the road be put in shape, but we are where we are now, and we continue our appeal to the government to come to our aid and do something about the road. Because if you have such a facility here and the road condition is that if people cannot access the facility, then that will also become another big issue.
Nana Asensu Mensa reporting.
Now, scores of Elmina residents on Tuesday hit the streets, impressing on government to do something to help save the Indum group of companies. The protesters are calling on government not to look on for the collapse of the business that feeds many in Elmina. Richard Kojo was there. Here's his report.
My background speaks volumes about what is happening here. Close to 300 people have been protesting on the street of Elmina today. It's been 4 hours of protest at Elmina. A concerned resident of Elmina who relied on the jobs provided by Dr. Papa Kwesi Indom. They want government to reconsider its decision to collapse the businesses of Group Indom. They say Dr. Indom is like their dad, like their mom, like a breadwinner, if you like. And so collapsing the businesses would affect them. It has a lot of incalculable consequences on them. So they want government insofar as government has been able to support some local banks, they want government to also lend a helping hand or some kind of support for Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom, because the people here in Elmina are suffering and they will be the hardest hit should this happen to them.
In 1874, the colonial administration attacked a respectable and responsible entrepreneur from Elmina. We have not had another industrial icon in this town. The closest we have had is Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom. Regrettably, the same vindictiveness, hatred, backbiting, and destructive tendency which the colonial administration meted out to implement is being repeated by our own self-government to Dr. Nduom and his businesses after 150 years. We, the people, have not seen any prominent indigene of the land with such an entrepreneurial skills, talent, and gifts like Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom. It is for this reason that we believe such people are rare. They are gifts from God and they must be protected and supported.
We have also been speaking with some of the people that have been taking part in the demonstration. What's your name?
Frederica.
Now, about 17 and when you watch it,
oh, because because our father, we are collapsing the Ninjuman now. It's your father, the Ninjuman knows the man. And why to am a young brain, my
one and OG in the Ninjuman.
Oh, be
this person says that government has deliberately collapsed the jobs of the Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom and they want government to do something about it. He says that government should leave Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom alone and allow his businesses to thrive and flourish, because now all the work they do, the businesses they do, those who are into sewing, they sew and the people never come back for their clothes or something, and so they want that to stop. They want government to rather support Dr. Papa Kwesi Nduom to succeed in his business rather than collapsing it. From the frontage of the Elmina Castle, my name is Richard Kwejonya for Joy News.
Moving on, the senior minister, Yawasafu Mafo, has underscored the crucial role technical and vocational education training would play in achieving the Akufo-Addo-led government's Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. He says government is making efforts to restructure TVET and also strengthen the relevant institutions to enable them produce competitive technical and vocational workforce, which ultimately is crucial for the development of the country. Mr. Osafo was speaking at the opening ceremony of the maiden edition of the Applied Research Conference of Technical Universities and Polytechnics in Ghana, hosted at the Whole Technical University.
We now find ourselves in a dire situation where we are producing skills which are not in high demand by the job market. This is the primary cause of unemployment in our country, and we must do something about it and do so urgently. The long-term solution to the unemployment situation is to shift the focus of our education system from the general to technical and vocational education and training, now TVET. That is why I find the theme for this conference positioning technical and vocational education and training for employability and sustainable development so apt for the occasion and for our times. Let me therefore express government's profound appreciation to the organizers and the brains behind the choice of this topic. And after this conference, we want you to make copies of your recommendation available not only to the Minister of Education, but to the President's office, but we need it to shape our thinking. As you are aware, government is taking a holistic approach in reforming education system of the country in order to train people who are relevant to the world of work. This is the surest way to reduce unemployment and empower the average Ghanaian to take advantage of opportunities of growth and expansion in the economy through all the interventions we are doing. We need TVET to work again. We need TVET to work again, and we need a mindset shift. We need to change our attitude towards technical and vocational education as a country, but that is going to be the source of our growth. And if we are to sort of classify the importance of the educational sector, TVET should be the #1 on our list if we want to grow the economy. I'm happy to inform you that reforming TVET has been identified as one of the 10 top priorities which is required to enable Ghana achieve economic reliance and the Ghana Beyond Aid concept. I have copies of the Ghana Beyond Aid document with me for all the technical universities and the polytechnics. May I request that the communique you will issue after this conference should focus on how you will also relate to this document, and we'll be waiting for your input on the Ghana Beyond Aid.
Now back here in Accra, the opposition NDC is challenging claims by President Akufo-Addo that government's vigilance in the procurement process has saved the state in excess of 2.7 billion cedis, I believe. The president at the Ghana Bar Association conference in Takoradi on Monday noted a review of several sole source contracts by the Public Procurement Authority has safeguarded the public purse. The party also has been casting doubts over the president's persistent claims of fighting corruption in the face of several scandals that have plagued his administration. Komla Adum was at the NDC's news conference. This is his report.
The National Democratic Congress is demanding a detailed publication of all the said sole-sourced contracts and the amounts claimed to have been saved on each by government to substantiate the president's persistent claims of protecting the public purse.
President Akufo-Addo claimed that he has saved the country about 2.7 billion Ghana cedis through the rejection of sole-source contracts presented to the PPA. Didn't he know that the PPA boss was actually the source of the sole source contract? We wish to submit that this claim is false and challenge the president to publish a full list of all the specific cases of saving. Let him tell us that this contract was going to be sole source. We blocked it. This is what we have saved. And the total is 2.7 billion. Let him come out to tell us.
According to the party, the president's claim that the perception of him being a clearing agent is a creation of the opposition shows the president is out of touch with reality.
From the extraordinary, corrupt, multitudinous scandal in which the president nicodemously granted executive approval for a deal that was inflated by a whopping $800 million, to the PDS scandal under which cronies of Mr. Akufo-Addo and his relatives were handed a 22 billion Ghana cedis valued assets like ECG when they had not met either the financial or technical requirements, to the PPA scandal where the man appointed by the president to head the organization ended up awarding 14 contracts to himself and sold some to third parties. To the NYA scandal, where a 4.5 million Ghana cedis contract was unlawfully awarded to an entity without recourse to procurement laws, it has been established beyond all reasonable doubt that corruption is the way of life for the president and his government. How the president can turn around in the face of this glaring evidence and blame his political opponents is further proof of the bubble of denial which he lives in.
The party also described as sickening the posturing of the president when reacting to media freedom-related matters. The party believes the president's assertions regarding the killing of investigative journalist Ahmed Swali was insensitive.
We note that you must have felt very sad yesterday when the president sought to belittle and trivialize your genuine fears and concerns arising out of the gruesome murder of your colleague Ahmed Swali and the threats and attacks you have come under at the hands of MPP operatives. We deeply regret that lack of concern and insensitivity on the part of the president and his attempt to dismiss your fears. As father of the nation, he should be offering comfort, guaranteeing your safety as pressmen, and taking action against the goons behind these heinous acts.
The NDC also described the president's comments on fighting corruption as, quote, flowery speeches and empty rhetoric delivered in an acquired accent. They said unless the president overhauls what they describe as nepotistic government and prosecutes those caught up in the corruption web, Ghanaians will continue to tag the regime as the most corrupt in history.
Our president believes that somehow flowery speeches and empty rhetoric delivered in an acquired accent is what convinces people that corruption is being fought. The Ghanaian people have been long aware that corruption is only fought on the basis of concrete steps aimed at preventing it from occurring in the first place, detecting its occurrence, and punishing those engaged in it. If today President Akufo-Addo is dismissed as a corrupt leader, it is the outcome of his own decisions to make corruption the foundation of his government.
Well, we'll discuss this further. Kojo Yankson will be hosting Dr. Michael Pesa-White on AM Talk, and I know that these points will be dominating the discussion. But moving on, we have to end the bulletin. And before we go, though, the Chief Executive of the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, Samuel Ayim, says the newly introduced school curriculum for basic schools must emphasize good leadership. Speaking at the media launch of Live to Lead, an international leadership event, Mr. Yim said it's crucial for leadership skills to be developed among young people, especially among school children. There's more in this report compiled by Nicholas Yamwa.
Mr. Yim said the nation's development depended on the quality of its leaders. That is why the Center for Transformational Leadership, in partnership with Goldfields Ghana, is organizing the Live to Lead conference, which will focus on the training of a youth in leadership. Chief Executive Officer of the Center, Samuel Ayim, said he is hoping that the new school curriculum would touch on leadership skills for the youth.
So, yes, we've made an approach, but we've seen in the reforms there's some snipers on leadership. We haven't seen the full documentation, so we cannot assess the content, whether it is enough or whatever. But I think they moved away from a system where we are exams-based and just accumulation of information to, competencies and skills is in the right direction, which is what are some of the things we teach and we proposed. So we're hoping that by the time this is fully rolled out, that some of these concepts would find their way there, and over time we can build upon it.
In a country battling corruption on all fronts, Ghana will have a better handle of the problem if it has good leaders, he said.
I know that we don't need more laws. Everything you can mention, we have a law on it. What we need is the will to enforce those laws. And that is what leadership is about. The ability to take the bold step to implement the law and hold people accountable. Until we have a national willingness on all fronts, and it doesn't matter whether the person is in my party or is a government person, wrong is wrong. and it must be treated as such.
Partner of this year's event, Goldfields Ghana, says it is going to take time to train people for leadership roles and hopes they achieve self-discipline among the youth after the event.
As we partner with CTL, we know that people and already 100 students will get an opportunity to be at the program. So they are also going to be educated one way or the other on how to become good leaders and for today and tomorrow. What we hope to achieve is that as an organization, Goldfields, you see, when students come for this program, they learn a lot. So we are hoping that as they learn, they become self-disciplined, and also we'll also be able to work with them so that corporations, not just Goldfields, but other corporations will develop and move on.
This year's event will have leadership expert, motivational speaker and author John C. Maxwell, Nana Nsakwa IV, who is a traditional ruler and a media personality, and a host of others. The event is slated for 10th October 2019. Nicholas Eko Yamwa's report for JoyNews.
Well, that's it for the news, but we have more news. Keep watching us, and one of the ardent viewers of this show is well, Ajiman Owusu-Sekyere. He works with the NIB Asante Mampong branch. Today is your birthday, and we, right here on the show, wish you all the best for the day as well. Your lunch is on yourself and the rest of the family. Kojo?
The hope with which he must have started listening to that sentence. Well, happy birthday, and I guess condolences to you because you're buying your own lunch. But keep watching.
Ajiman Owusu-Sekyere, NIB.
Keep watching the AM show, Ajiman Owusu-Sekyere. Happy birthday to you.